Good afternoon. Sometimes I can't see if this thing's running or not. I'll get better, I think. It is day 53. It is Sunday, January 3rd, 2021. Had quite a lot of response from the video yesterday, so I'm happy to help people. Many of you messaged me and said thank you for the video, so you're welcome. I think in Amelia's diary, I'm just trying to share what is going on in my life at the moment, currently. Something that I touched on in another video, and it was a video with Roger, of what we're doing this year, the year of the reset year. He is not home at the moment. He is in Maine, of all places. And he is now on a parking lot building crates for the shipment that he has. He needs to come home before we solidify exactly what we're doing. But I think part of what we will do is do a video on probably Friday nights. At least post them on Friday night, so you guys can kind of plan around that. This whole idea of being friends, going back, redoing, because he and I got together at 15 and 17, and because of his trauma and my trauma, we did not individuate. We did not go through the human development stage of individuation. And so when we got together, and we're as codependent as you could be. He came from alcoholism. I came from alcoholism. His father never quit. His mother left when he was young. They got divorced, and he got the 5 kids. 5 kids, and then Roger's brother died when his mom tried to leave him, and she was going from Missouri to Texas, and his brother had medical problems from his mother getting a tetanus shot. She went into the emergency room with an infection, and they gave her a tetanus shot, which maybe some of you know, maybe you don't know, is not a good thing when you're pregnant, and she was pregnant. So Greg was born with some severe health issues, and she took the 5 kids and ran, and was in Oklahoma in a restaurant, and Greg had issues with regulating body temperature, so she left him in the car, and somebody came in and said there's a blue baby out here in the car, and he then died on that trip. So she had to come back to St. Louis, and he then gained custody of the 4 kids, 3 girls and Roger. And so that's part of his trauma. Just a little tiny piece of his trauma from his childhood. So what I want to kind of talk about today is what are we doing in this reset year, and that is in order for us to be totally 2 healthy individuals coming together, setting good boundaries, being able to individuate, me have my life, he has his life, heal some of the trauma. We're giving ourselves a year, this reset year, of going back to being friends, not having a sexual relationship, because sexually both of us have had trauma. And from what I'm understanding, and I'm learning a lot every day doing what I'm doing, is he and I got together at 15 and 17 in a trauma bond. And when you do that, things are not healthy. So, you may be able to function every day, which We did on a third dimensional level. He went to work. You know, I had babies and we had babies and I raised babies and I kept a house and, cooked and cleaned and got the kids dressed and off to school. And I mean, you can do all those things, but our intimate, and I don't mean just our sexual relationship, but our intimate relationship suffered. And as he's been a quasi journaler his whole life, or well, not his whole life, his life with me, because I've been a journaler since I was 12. Um, he he's gone back and read some of his journals, and it's the same thing over and over and over again. And it's like, okay, so now is the time we need to go back and individuate and go through the development stages that we didn't go through as young kids and teenagers. Um, and so that's kind of what all of this is about, is as he and I got together, trauma came together in a trauma bond. Things are not healthy. And if you don't address uh, the trauma, you just continue to be unhealthy. And he and I, neither one of us want to continue to be unhealthy. And he and I both know and knew early on that, if we divorced and hooked up with somebody else, it would be the same. It would be the same mess because we hadn't healed. We hadn't done our work. So think about that when you think about your own relationship or relationships. How did you get together? When did you come together? Have both of you, have one of you had trauma in your childhood? And have you addressed it? Not everybody chooses to address it, and that's fine. But Roger and I have a goal to be as healthy as we can both be and still remain together. So we have agreed to do this year, and not saying that the year is going to encapsulate all of our healing, because it won't. I've done a lot more healing than he has up to this point. And I'm sure the healing will continue after this. I think as human beings, part of the plan in this lifetime is struggle. And it's our responsibility to look at what struggles we have and how we can help ourselves through those struggles. So think about, and then also think about your children, if you have children, if they came through trauma, depending on what ages they are, if they trauma bonded. There's so many different kinds of trauma. So just pay attention to that. And if you have grandchildren, and if they've been through trauma, just maybe educate yourself, look up some YouTube videos on trauma bonding and what actually happens in, excuse me, in that trauma bonding. Because it can go on to, like, it infiltrates and it sits. It has sat in the background of my and Roger's relationship. And when stress gets high, it rears its head. Sometimes we understand what's going on. Sometimes we didn't understand what was going on. We come to the table today a lot more educated, a lot more willing, a lot more understanding, a lot more compassion for each other. And it's been difficult and frustrating and draining, energetically draining, because it's like if I can explain it, if you've had trauma and it's unaddressed trauma, even though you might mentally know, I had repressed memory syndrome, didn't remember my sexual abuse until I was 30. But some people remember it and they just choose to leave it on the back burner or bury it or try to bury it. But that kind of trauma is like you have a faucet in the back that is turned on all the time. And the energy is being bled out of your current life until you address it. And that's a choice. You can choose to address it or you can choose not to address it. So think about that. That's what I want to talk about today. Today is 53, I think, of 100 videos. All right. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.